Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba announced his resignation on Sunday, a move that is likely to trigger a period of political and policy uncertainty at a critical time for the world's fourth-largest economy. The decision comes just days after Japan finalized a trade deal with the United States aimed at reducing President Donald Trump's tariffs, a development Ishiba had described as vital for stabilizing the country's export-driven economy. However, the Prime Minister admitted that he could no longer continue in office following a series of painful election defeats that eroded confidence in his leadership. At 68 years old, Ishiba has long been a prominent figure in Japanese politics, known for his conservative stance on security policies and his push to strengthen Japan's role on the global stage. His resignation marks the end of a relatively short tenure, but one that was filled with challenges both domestically and internationally. At a press conference in Tokyo, Ishiba stated clearly that he must take responsibility for the losses his party faced in recent regional and parliamentary elections. He explained that holding on to power despite these setbacks would not serve the people of Japan, and therefore stepping down was the most honorable course of action. The announcement stunned both allies and critics, as many believed Ishiba would attempt to consolidate power following the successful conclusion of the trade deal with Washington. That agreement had been seen as a rare political victory in recent months, offering Japan some relief from harsh U.S. tariffs that had threatened the automobile and technology sectors, two pillars of the Japanese economy. Nonetheless, the domestic political scene told a different story, with the ruling party facing growing criticism over its handling of economic reforms, rising living costs, and questions surrounding government transparency. Political analysts say Ishiba's resignation opens the door to what could be a prolonged leadership struggle within the ruling party. Japan's economy is already facing headwinds from slowing global demand, fragile consumer confidence, and mounting debt levels. The lack of clear leadership could further complicate efforts to implement much-needed reforms, ranging from labor market changes to fiscal adjustments. Moreover, Japan's strategic position in the Indo-Pacific region, where tensions are rising between major powers, requires steady and decisive leadership, something that may now be in short supply. Internationally, Ishiba's departure will also raise questions about the future of Japan's commitments to its allies. During his time in office, he strongly supported the U.S.-Japan security alliance and took a firm stance against threats from North Korea and China. His resignation comes at a time when regional security concerns are intensifying, making the choice of his successor even more critical for Japan's foreign policy direction. The United States, in particular, will be closely monitoring developments in Tokyo, given the importance of the bilateral trade and security partnership. Domestically, the ruling party now faces the immediate challenge of selecting a new leader who can regain public trust and stabilize the political environment. Several names are already circulating as potential successors, but none appear to command overwhelming support either within the party or among the public. This uncertainty risks prolonging the political instability, especially if the leadership contest becomes drawn out or divisive. For ordinary Japanese citizens, Ishiba's resignation may be seen as a necessary step to reset the political landscape. Many voters had grown increasingly frustrated with the government's perceived inability to address economic stagnation and social challenges, including an aging population and declining birth rates. While Ishiba's critics argued that he failed to deliver on promises of revitalization, his supporters praised his integrity and willingness to take responsibility rather than cling to power. As Japan prepares for a new political chapter, the coming weeks will be decisive in shaping the country's economic and diplomatic trajectory. Ishiba's resignation underscores the fragility of political leadership in times of uncertainty and the heavy burden carried by those who govern. Whether Japan can quickly regain stability and confidence will depend largely on the ability of the ruling party to unite behind a capable successor who can navigate both domestic challenges and the increasingly complex international environment. In the meantime, Ishiba will leave office having played a significant role in guiding Japan through difficult negotiations and standing firm on matters of national interest. His departure, however, leaves many unanswered questions and sets the stage for a potentially turbulent period in Japanese politics.